So, the new Mazda. I want to talk about it a little more. I want to go for a drive and talk about a few things that maybe are intangibles about this car, such as, the feeling of driving. Is this car, look at the size of this car. This is not a small SUV. It has a big rear end. We've talked about that. It's really growing on me. The older I get, the bigger I like the rear end. Don't let my wife know that I said that. Shit, now I gotta reshoot the intro. No, we're leaving it. Okay. I had them install a hitch. It's my go-to thing. So the dealer installed a free hitch. That's what I negotiate on every new vehicle I ever buy. That's my go-to. Give me a new hitch, you install it, or no deal. And that's, hey, it's worked for 25 years. Every new vehicle I've ever bought and I got a hitch. This time, they installed the hitch, free of charge. They installed a 6-point harness down here, which works with my camping trailer, but will not work with any of my tow trailers or my boat. So, and then I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? Well, I found an easy solution. You can get a little plug that goes in there and converts that 7 contact system to a 4 or 5. Or in the case of the one I bought, I ordered it on Amazon. It just plugs in and it has a 5 on the top and a 4 on the bottom. So no additional wiring needs to be done. $12.99 on Amazon, okay? So not a big deal. If I go to take the boat somewhere, we just plug that in and then we can plug the trailer lights into that. No problem. Also, I wanted to show you guys under this, we talked about there not being any room under this floor hatch here because there's a tire underneath this and just enough room to squeeze in the EV cable that came with the car, the one you're never going to use unless you're at a friend's house and want to steal their electricity. The slow 115 volt, 15 amp charger that takes 9 hours or, I don't know, something like that. Yeah, I think it's about 9 hours to charge this car with that. I did get the hitch, and there's just enough room. There's a couple little spots here where they've got some tools. I've got the lock nuts for the car here, and then the trailer hitch stored here. There are no side hatches or anything in here. I don't know why they don't have a bin here in the side. Like the PHEV Outlander has an opening where you can put a couple 2-liter bottles of pop in there. This has a lighter plug. But on each side, this one has a bit of a cutout. So I guess you could put something in there. But not a lot of storage room in here. I did notice, though, that on the nice back door, these have great big windows. Like I say, it's not a small car. It does have the built-in privacy screens. When we first start the car, we get that seatbelt blinging. And I thought it was going to be really annoying and that I would have to get that and shut it off, but that's all it does right there. That doesn't bother me too much. I have never owned a Mazda before, so this whole infotainment thing is new to me. We do get some kind of subscription with Sirius XM. I don't know if it's 6 months or a year. Sirius XM, yeah, here's a little tip, guys. I was paying $13 a month for it in the truck. I canceled it because I sold the truck, and the following day they sent me an offer for $4.99 for the year. So I suggest any of you guys that have had your contract for a year or more, just cancel it. So I was going to say I've never owned a Mazda or used their infotainment system, and I find it actually very intuitive. You push it to make selections, and you just turn the wheel to go through if you have a menu. And if you just push the center, it does a selection. And if you push left, it takes you back, or you can push the back button. And I can confirm now, we've been sitting here for 5 minutes because I just wanted to test it. The shoulder harness warning blinger has not blinged again. So it's just when you first start up the car, which is fine. And the other thing is this signal. It's grown on me. At first, I found that annoying, I don't know, irritating, grating. But the more I listen to it, I don't mind it. Also, at the end of this video, I just want to give my thoughts on the rental, the Eclipse Cross that they've given me. I've had it for 2 weeks now, and I'm going to have it for the foreseeable future as they I don't know if they're changing the battery in my Outlander, but that's the next step, is they're looking at it. And of course, it's been 4 days since I've heard from them. They don't tell me anything. So next week I'll call again and get an update on that car. But I've got this Eclipse Cross. We took it down to Toronto, and oddly enough, we just drifted here 100 meters from my garage door to the end of my driveway. I put the car in drive, and it's in EV mode. I have the car set up to automatically go into EV mode. Now if I take my foot off the brake, it wants to crawl forward in EV mode. And the first couple times I was like, Mom, I think my driveway slanted down. Well, we're at the end of the driveway now, which goes up. So watch what happens when I take my foot off the brake. We start moving. I'm not touching the gas pedal. My foot is not on the gas pedal down there. And yet we are moving. I don't think it should do that. I don't know. But it does. Okay, so if I actually step on the gas pedal and we get going here in electric mode, my thoughts that I wanted to portray are that this car does not handle like a car for its size. I've owned the Subaru Crosstrek. I owned the Subaru Impreza before that. I've owned the Forester. All pretty nimble, pretty quick, all-wheel drive cars. And this one is right up there. I did mention in the first video the turning radius surprised me. I was thinking this thing was going to be like my truck, you know, hard to get into places and park. No, the wheels just go right around. It will turn, and in a 2-lane highway situation here, we can do a U-turn without doing any kind of 3-point turn or anything like that. It accelerates really good. It has lots of power. It just feels sportier than it should, I think. I don't know. I've never owned a Mazda. I do say Hannah's 13-year-old Mazda 3, 14-year-old Mazda 3 that she drives, I also think that has one of the peppiest little engines in it as well. That thing goes. So it must be a Mazda thing, right? The commercial does say zoom zoom. Also, I can confirm, and maybe I did in the last video, there is no save button to save your electric battery. I mean, we can charge more into the battery anytime we want, but of course that's going to run more fuel to run the generator for the car to do that. I do like that in the Outlander, that you can save when you're on the highway doing 110. You don't want to be in electric mode or having the car switch into that. It's the least efficient that the car can be, right? The gasoline engines cruising along at 100 or 110, they're very efficient. You don't want to waste your electricity. I want to use my electricity when I get to the next little town when it's stop and go traffic. So I wish they had a save button in this car, and they just don't. One of the issues I had with the PHEV, and we tested it in snow here, I don't have a roller system to test front wheel drive versus all wheel drive. There are guys that have done that already on YouTube, and you can watch those videos. There's some really good ones out there. And we did that with the Outlander by simply taking a good run at my lawn with a foot of snow on there and getting the bottom of the car hung up on the snow so that the wheels would turn. And then we did it in the different all-wheel drive modes that it had, and we checked to see, you know, are all the wheels turning? And no, they weren't. On the Outlander, 3 of the wheels would turn and 1 would sit there static, even when it was locked in SWAC mode, which is the Mitsubishi all-wheel drive system. I don't know what it stands for, I forget, but there is a dedicated button to lock that, and even when it was locked, the car really truly was only using 3 wheels and not 4. Now, if we had gotten some pressure under that 4th wheel, would it have caught and rotated? I don't know, but we got hung up and couldn't get out, and that was the end of where I'm going with that. This car, I've seen the videos, doesn't do that. It will automatically transfer between all 4 tires. So the system, I believe, is superior to at least the Mitsubishi system. Is it as good as my Subarus? I don't know. We'll find that out as time goes and we drive this car more. I don't think this car is going to be getting much off-road driving done on it. It's my wife's daily driver is what it's going to be. But there will be times when I do take it camping. You know, we're going to pull the trailer with it. We may get in a situation where we get to test that all-wheel drive. But today is not that day. I should have showed you when we pulled out of the garage the guessometer started at 50 kilometers down there. So it is just like the Outlander, where it's going to guess on previous trips how far, based on your driving habits, you're going to go with the electricity that's stored in the battery. So when we first got it, it was reading 42 kilometers. Now that I've been out a couple times with it and gotten 60 or 65 kilometers, it actually changed its guess today to 50. I have watched probably 25 hours of review videos on the 2024 Mazda CX-90 PHEV and the 2025. And I do that simply just to see if any of these guys out there have complaints or note things that, you know, need an update, software update to fix, something like that. And so far, the 2024 did get 11 updates, and I think the 2025 has only had 1 so far. So they have done a ton of updates. This car is fully updated. I checked it. You can actually download updates right from your home screen. I'm assuming it's just going to use my internet. There will be things, of course, that you're going to have to bring it in to the dealership to get done in terms of updates. But just generic updates, I think you can do yourself. Let's talk about extended warranty for a second. Now, the Outlander had the option to purchase a 10-year diamond warranty, which extended the coverage on that car bumper to bumper for 10 years or 160,000 kilometers, and it was $2,000 Canadian. That was a no-brainer. I did that in an instant. Guys, I have made out already crazy good on that because I've had the gas tank replaced, I've had hinges replaced, I've had strut mounts replaced, a bunch of stuff. Sensors, oxygen sensors. That thing has already paid for itself. Now, the battery warranty that we're going through right now for this possible lithium replacement is its own separate warranty. They have a 10-year warranty. The Mazda only has a 7-year warranty on their lithium battery. So that worries me a little bit. But we don't have to take this car in for updates every year and get them to reprogram lost amperage that really isn't lost because of some stupid vampire software, you know, that Mitsubishi has put on there. Mazda doesn't do that. So there's a huge win right there. I did not purchase the extended warranty for this car because this car only has a 3-year, 60,000 probably warranty. I'm not sure what. No, unlimited kilometers. Yes, unlimited kilometers for 3 years with Mazda, which is kind of cool. If you're a high kilometer driver, then buy a Mazda, right? But they wanted $3,000 to extend that warranty for 2 additional years, and I just thought, I'm going to roll the dice. What are the chances that I'm going to spend $3,000 in repairs to that car when it's only 3 years old, or 4 years old, or 5 years old? Chances are pretty slim. I'm a gambler, and we're going to gamble that whatever repairs need to be done up to year 5 on this do not cost me $3,000. If it had been a longer extension, you know, something like what Mitsubishi offered, I probably would have took it. I want to know if you guys own a Mazda CX-90 PHEV. If you're not touching the gas pedal, does your car keep driving along? Mine does. I don't. It just feels weird to me. Any normal car that I've ever owned does not go forward even when it's in drive. Yeah, it might roll forward, coast down a little hill or something. This thing is driving. So we went out the driveway, and I thought, well, maybe the driveway slanted down, but now we're going back up to the garage, and we're still moving. My foot is not on the gas. Concerns me a little bit. Is it because the car is brand new? I mean, the car smells brand new. Is that something that it's going to stop doing over time? Even if I turn the wheel all the way here, it just keeps powering through. It keeps going. It's definitely drawing enough power from that battery. Let's see if it does it in reverse. Oh, it does. It does. Okay, that's something else that I don't like, I've noticed before. These mirrors auto tilt down when you're backing up. Watch when I put the car in forward. See the mirror shifting there? I don't like that thing moving on its own, but maybe that's just me. I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, I can't see anything. I want to see. I line up with the garage door back there, not the ground. These tilt down to show you the ground, that you're not running over something, I guess. I don't know. But I'm trying to line up with the door on the garage behind me, and the mirrors tilt down and I can't see it. So that is a little annoying. Something else we have not done yet is look under the hood. I've driven this car 3 days now and I have not even looked under the hood. Let's do that. Ooh, shiny and new and covered with a plastic cover. Oh, that's kind of cool. So this engine bay obviously is the same spec as the inline V6 engine. So we've got a ton of room. I always used to say my Dodge truck, which was the V6, used the same body and front cabin area as the V8. Tom had the V8. His was stuffed right full of engine, and mine, much like this PHEV, has enough room to keep your technician right there. So if you put some snacks in there, you could just keep the guy and all his tools. He could ride right in the front, kind of Mad Max style, and keep your PHEV running in tip-top shape. I mean, I don't know what I'm looking at here, guys. It's a 2.5 naturally aspirated engine. She looks clean. I wouldn't want to have to fix anything in there because it's all computerized. And don't touch down there. So I actually did watch a guy tear down a 2.5 Sky Active engine this morning. He tore the whole thing down, and it was a 30-some minute video. I watched all of it. He said that it is very rare for him to actually find an engine. I think it had 30 or 40,000 kilometers on it, and it failed. And so he was tearing it apart. He said the only ones he ever finds are ones that have been in accidents, and that the Sky Active engines are super reliable. And anyway, he tore this thing down, and there was some kind of coolant leak, and the engine had been burning coolant, and it caused overheating, and that's what happened in that case. But super rare, very reliable Mazda engines. And there's proof right there, because that one's 14 years old. It's got 100,000, so the motor never had a lot of kilometers on it. But that is still one of the snappiest, peppiest little engines you get in, and whoo, it takes off. Your head snaps back when it takes off. You're not even trying to do that. They just make good engines. We didn't use all of the electricity in the car, but I'm going to top it up anyway. And that reminded me, there is one more thing I wanted to mention. This charging port cover is pretty flimsy feeling, guys. It is not as heavy duty as the one on the Outlander. I mean, it's fine. I don't think I'm a fan of having nitrogen in these tires either, because what happens when I need to top it up? I don't have nitrogen to put in there. Hey guys, I'm just down in Toronto for a family weekend, and I've got the Eclipse Cross, or the Eclipse Cross as I just called it in my intro. I want to talk about this car just briefly because we're doing the new car series. And this rental, I've got a few things to say. I mean, you guys can see the back of it. In terms of size, we had a Subaru Crosstrek, and this car very much reminds me, same size as a Crosstrek. I'm trying to figure out, guys, who this car is for. Okay, it's, in terms of price, I don't know what they go for. This one is not fully featured, so it's probably, you know, middle of the road with your features, whatever. That's all besides the point, because you can pick what you want in most cars. They have variable options, right? But I'm trying to figure out, the main problem I have with this car is it's gutless, and I mean no power at all. It feels like it's in eco mode 100% of the time. You take off from a dead stop, and I could get out and push this car faster. Now, I mentioned that it's very similar to my Crosstrek that we had. We still have that car in the family. It was a 2014. My father-in-law now owns it. It still rides and handles like new. I took it to Toronto a few months ago, and it's still like a new car. This car does ride nice. Total complete lack of power. And combine that with the fact that this car is getting 8.9 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway. I'm trying to figure out who this car is for. So they've taken away every bit of power. I don't know any of the specs, what's in the Eclipse Cross, but it feels like it's less than a 2 liter is what it feels like. It's terrible. It's geared terrible.
It does have a little more pep when you've got higher RPM and you're in the higher gears and you're on the highway. You can pass people, no problem. It's not like a V6 or anything with electric power, but those two things combined make me say it's very tight in here. It's cramped. I'm not a huge guy. I'm only 5'9". With my shoes on, I've shrunk over the years, but it's very tight. Not a lot of space in here. I can say the seats are comfortable, but they do suffer from the same thing that my wife complains about in the Outlander, which is her ponytail. She can't put her head back. It hits the weird angle on these seats, so she hates it. She will never buy another Mitsubishi. I guess I would have to categorize this car as a mid-sized compact. It's not the smallest car, but it doesn't have a lot of room in it either. So people usually, when they're choosing this type of car, it's, you know, it's big enough to do what they need it to, but they're very good on gas. Well, this car isn't, and I can't figure out, they've gone in the wrong direction here, because that old Subaru Crosstrek I keep bringing up is now 11 years old, and it used to get close to 7 liters per 100 on the highway, and it was all-wheel drive all the time. Now, this does have an SAWC all-wheel drive button down here. Is this car an all-wheel drive all the time? I don't know. If it is, it's still getting 2 liters per 100 worse than that old Subaru. And I always said that car felt like it had hamsters under the hood. Well, compared to this one, it feels like a sports car, because this, you just have to rent one of these and you'll see what I'm talking about. No power at all. And of course, backed by Mitsubishi warranty, and yeah, I'm out. No, thank you.